What's up, YouTube? Team Movies here. Since today is the birthday of Oscar-winning actor Tommy Lee Jones, and since his new film Ad Astra with Brad Pitt opens Friday, I decided to do my top 10 favorite Tommy Lee Jones movies because the guy's of course a legend. I mean, he's been acting for like decades and decades. I mean, the dude's he's just awesome. I mean, I do love the guy's works, and his new film Ad Astra looks really good. So looking forward for that. So anyway, with that being said, here's my 10 favorite Tommy Lee Jones movies. All right, coming in at number 10 is kind of more of a guilty pleasure of mine, and that is Batman Forever. I mean, this is slightly better than Batman Robin. Let's be for real there. And I mean, this time around you had Val Kilmer as the role of Batman. He ended up replacing Michael Keaton as the role. This time, he ends up facing off against a couple of iconic villains like Two-Face, played by Tommy Lee Jones, as well as the Riddler, played by Jim Carrey, who I know Jim Carrey was a great Riddler. And Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face was cool casting. I mean, honestly, the next actor we ended up seeing as the role of Two-Face was Aaron Eckhart in The Dark Knight. But I gotta say, Tommy Lee Jones as the role of Two-Face was pretty cool casting right there. I thought he played that role really well. And from what I heard rumors that he didn't really like the character so there's that. But I quite liked his interaction with Val Kilmer's Batman. I thought Val Kilmer and Tommy Lee Jones played off each other well. And not to mention, you also had Chris O'Donnell as Dick Grayson in this. Nicole Kidman was, of course, in this. You even had Drew Barrymore. I mean, really great casting. But I think Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, that was really brilliant casting right there. And kind of shame we never really got to see Jones play the role again. But hey, he was a one-and-shot deal, I guess.
Oh, nice.
All right. My number 9 pick is going to Steven Spielberg's film Lincoln. Now this is the historical epic film about Abraham Lincoln. You had the great Daniel Day-Lewis, who ended up winning his third Oscar for the role of Lincoln. You also had Sally Field, who played Mary Todd Lincoln. You had Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in this, but in the film, Tommy Lee Jones actually played Republican Congressman Thaddeus Stevens of Pennsylvania, who was like the leader Republican and friend O'Brien. And he, of course, pretty much feared that like Lincoln would turn his back on immaculate patient and all. And I thought Tommy Lee Jones was great here. I mean, he of course scored a Oscar nomination for his performance. I thought Lee Jones was really great as the role of Stevens.
Oh, 34.
And they really made him look so much like Stevens. I thought the makeup they used on the guy was really great. And his chemistry with Daniel Day-Lewis's Lincoln was pretty great. He has some interesting lines here. I mean, and Lincoln is a really great movie too. If you guys still haven't seen Lincoln, give that one a shot. It's really good. All right, coming in at number 8 is another guilty pleasure of mine. That is going to the 90s disaster film Volcano. Now, back in the same year that Volcano got released, there was also another volcano-based movie, which was Dante's Peak. And Dante's Peak was cool, but unpopular opinion, I kind of prefer Volcano slightly more. I mean, in the film, Tommy Lee Jones plays pretty much plays like this guy named Tom Rock, who's like this emergency management director who pretty much spends the weekend with his daughter named Kelly, played by Gabby Hoffman. But there's like a volcano that ends up erupting, and So Mike has to try to find ways to save his family from the fiery pit of the volcano and all. And you had Anne Heche as the scientist, Dr. Amy Barnes she was great here. You had you even had like people like Don Cheadle, Keith David, John Corbett. This is a really fun national disaster film. I mean, the volcano in this literally looked real. I mean, it's CGI, yeah, but they really made that volcano look really realistic. And Tommy Lee Jones, I thought he was a great family man in this film. Like probably the best part of the movie has got to be his relationship with his on-screen daughter. Their relationship was pretty great. I mean, if you guys never seen Volcano, which got released in late '90s, I think 1997 or 1998. Can't remember the actual year, but Volcano is a really fun flick. All right, coming in at number 7, I'm going with No Country for Old Men. Obviously directed by the Coen brothers. You got Tommy Lee Jones as his delusional sheriff named Sheriff Bell, who ends up struggling to contain the rapidly escalating violence that pretty much seems to be consuming his like Lone Star State town and all, and so he's trying to take down like he ends up teaming up with Josh Brolin's character Lyle Wen March to track down this killer played by this hair killer played by Harvey Bardem, and you also had Woody Harrelson, Kelly MacDonald was in this. It was a really cool crime story. I believe the movie won Best Picture if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. No Country for Old Men, of course, won Best Picture. I mean,
yeah, I feel like we've trumped a few inches. I can't remember who was saying that.
I mean, great performances. It was pretty cool seeing Tommy Lee Jones and Josh Brolin work together in this. Like, either their chemistry was great here. And it has a really great script. I mean, Harvey Bardem, of course, won his first ever Oscar for his performance here. Harvey Bardem was one psychopath in this film. And of course, Tom Lee Jones and Josh Brolin's character are trying to track down the killer and trying to investigate the murders that's been happening in the town. I mean, yeah, No Country for Old Men is a really good one. If you guys never really seen it, give that one a shot. All right, coming in at number 6 is going to Captain America: The First Avenger. Now, this, was the debut of Chris Evans as the role of Captain America, Steve Rogers and all. And the role that Tom Lee Jones played in this was Chester Phillips, who was the colonel of the United States Army and member of the Strategic Scientific Reserve, who ends up heading up the project to create super soldiers. And I quite liked Tom Lee Jones' role. It's a shame we never really got to see him as a character again. Like, at least with flashbacks, I will let you see him back as a character again. I mean, I loved his couple of his lines. And also, I liked the scene where he was, interrogating Toby Jones's character, and he was like eating a really, and of course, Tommy Lee Jones was eating a good-looking steak right there. I mean, that scene will literally make you hungry, by the way. Now, granted, Tommy Lee Jones's role isn't as big as you expect, but I still quite loved his character. Especially the scene where, probably my favorite Jones moment in the first adventure is where Steve and Peggy ends up kissing one time. Then Steve looks at Chester Phillips, and Tommy Lee Jones was like, "Don't look at me. You ain't kissing me." I mean, Tommy Lee Jones was great. That's such a shame we never got to see him back again. I mean, they got to see it bring Tommy Lee Jones back again in the MCU, whether it's on TV or in the movies or whatever. I love to see Chester Phillips back again, whether it's like flashbacks or whatever. I mean, I love Tommy Lee Jones in this. All right. Coming in at number 5 is a baseball movie, Core Cobb. Now, this is, about fame, baseball hitter Ty Cobb, who's played by Tom Lee Jones, and of course you had Robert Wah as the role of Al Stump. You also had a actor playing Babe Ruth. I mean, this is a really cool film. It I did my 10 favorite baseball movies not so long ago, and I can't believe I forgot to add Cobb. Cobb is really good. Tom Lee Jones, gave such a great performance as the role of Ty Cobb, and Cobb was, of course, and was the first man to be inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame. So when you talk about his life and all that, and his rivalry with Babe Ruth and all, it's a really nice baseball flick. If you guys never seen Cobb by now, give that one a shot. All right. Coming in at number 4 is a voiceover work, but it's still probably one of my favorite movies of the 90s. And it's kind of a childhood favorite. I mean, I actually used to own this on VHS. Anyway, my number 4 flick is going to Small Soldiers. Small Soldiers is freaking great. I mean, it's where this kid named Alan, played by Gregory Smith, who buys a set of Commando Elite action figures, but he's unaware that they have been programmed with military technology, and so so you got Tom Lee Jones who's actually voicing the leader of the Commando Elite named Chip, and he starts springing to life and start taking over their directives and start pretty much by killing off their enemies and all. And so you got the leader, the Gorgonites, named Archer, played by Frank Langella. Him and the other Gorgonites won't go down without a fight, so it's pretty much Toy against Toy and all. Small Soldiers is such an awesome movie. I mean, these toys, they're actually real toys too, but it's cool how they made these toys look so realistic. And I actually literally had some of these action figures too when I was a kid, seriously. And Tom Lee Jones was a great Chip. And actually, it took me a while to actually know that was Tom Lee Jones also. And of course, Frank Langella as the role of Archer, the leader of the Gorgonites. I mean, Frank Langella had a great voice as that character. And of course, you had a young Kirsten Dunst was great in this. It's action packed with toys. I mean, sad to say, this was also Phil Hartman's final film. Man, I miss Phil Hartman. But anyway. Yeah, Small Soldiers, directed by Joe Dante. Such an awesome film. If you guys never seen Small Soldiers by now, give that one a shot. It's a really good one. Alright, coming in at number 3, I'm going with The Client. Now, The Client is actually a adaptation of a novel by John Grisham, and it's directed by Joe Schumacher, who also directed another Grisham adaptation, which was A Time to Kill. And this is where this young kid, played by the late Brad Renfro, ends up getting arrested for pretty much a murder that he didn't commit. And so you got Tom Lee Jones as the attorney, who's trying to force Mark trying to force the kid to reveal what he knows and all. And you got Sue Sarandon as as an alcoholic lawyer here. You got Anthony LaPaglia as the famed gangster Barry Maldonado, and where Mark Swait, played by Brad Renfro, ends up witnessing the murder of a mafia lawyer, and people actually think that he was responsible for the killing, so he's trying to clear his name and all. And also escape from the mob as well. I mean, The Client is such a great film. It's a really great, it's a great legal film. It's a really cool crime flick. Yeah, The Client is such a good one. If you guys never seen The Client by now, it's another Joe Schumacher film, by the way. I mean, Tom Lee Jones, of course, worked with Schumacher on Batman Forever. And Joe Schumacher pretty much worked well with Tommy Lee Jones. Like, yeah, definitely go check out Decline if you guys never seen that. Alright, my number 2 favorite Tommy Lee Jones movie is going to the film that actually won him his Oscar, by the way. And that is The Fugitive. The film is a 1993 box office smash, and it's an adaptation of a 1960s TV series. And you got Harrison Ford as this doctor named Dr. Richard Kimmel, who is convicted of murdering his wife. So, like, while being transferred to prison by bus, Kimmel ends up being involved in a spectacular bus train collision, and he ends up surviving the disaster, and he pretty much escapes and tries to avoid from getting arrested and clear his name and all. And so you got Tommy Lee Jones as the role of the U.S. Marshal Sam Jarrett, who pretty much wants to take Kimmel down and all. Like I said, The Fugitive won got Lee Jones his first ever Oscar win. Tommy Lee Jones probably gave one of his best performances. I mean, most people would probably add this at their number 1 favorite, but my number 1 I kind of like slightly more. But Sam pretty much, like, U.S. Marshal Sam just wants to bring Kimmel to justice and all that, and Jones really played that part well. I mean, he gave was such a badass as that character. He had some cool action moments. I mean, if you guys, never, of course, seen The Fugitive by now, definitely go check out The Fugitive. It's a really great one. And, of course, Jones ended up reprising his role for the spin-off U.S. Marshal with Wesley Snipes and Robert Downey Jr. That movie's not so good at all. But The Fugitive is much better. Definitely go check out The Fugitive if you guys haven't seen that. Alright. Now, my number 1 favorite Tommy Lee Jones movie of all time is obviously Men in Black, directed by the always great Barry Seinfeld. Based on the, of course, it's based on the comic book about these, anyway, of course, it's where these 2 agents named Jay, played by Will Smith, and Kay, played by Tommy Lee Jones, who are, of course, nicknamed Men in Black, and they're trying to really solve like a alien invasion that's going around. And they are also assigned to recover this Bible that has been stolen by a intergalactic terrorist named Vincent D'Onofrio. So they're trying to stop a terrorist from moving out of his planet and all. And they're trying to save the galaxy here. I mean, not the galaxy, but the Earth and all. I mean, it's Men in Black. The first Men in Black is great. The sequence was actually not bad too. I mean, Men in Black 3, you actually had Josh Brolin play a young Tommy Lee Jones. How cool was that? And of course, you had Linda Fiorentino as it's the medical examiner who has been zapped one too many times by Kay's memory zap device. I mean, those memory zap device were pretty cool. But yeah, I really always liked the chemistry between Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. Like, those two work together really well. And sad to say, the last time we had a Men in Black film was the one with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. Yeah. Yeah, Men in Black International was horrible. But yeah, if you guys never really see Men in Black or Men in Black 2 or 3, give those films a go. They are some really fun action, adventure, sci-fi films, and you'll have a fun time with them. I mean, yeah, go check out the first 2. You don't need to borrow with the recent international one. But that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, Batman Forever. 9, Lincoln. 8, Volcano. 7, No Country for Old Men. 6, Captain America: The First Avenger. 5, Cop. 4, Small Soldiers. 3, The Client. 2, The Fugitive. 1, Men in Black. Now, there's loads of other ones I probably could have added because he's been in loads of many other great films. Oh, let's see. Cannot Wait for Ad Astra. The Missing was okay. Double Jeopardy with Astra was pretty good. Let's see. Jason Bourne was actually kind of a disappointment. He was in the Steven Seagal film Under Siege. I love Under Siege. Man of the House is actually a guilty pleasure of mine. I quite got kicked out of Man of the House. He was also in Blown Away with John Travolta. That was not good. He was in Criminal with Kevin Costner. That movie sucked. He was in a film called A Love Story. 3 Barrels, which he directed. Mechanic Resurrection he was in. That was not good. Coal Miner's Daughter. That was pretty decent. The Family with De Niro. That was actually not all that bad. He was in that film Just Getting Started with Morgan Freeman. That movie really sucks. He was in Hope Springs with Meryl Streep, which that was okay. I mean, not great, but he was in Natural Born Killers with Woody Harrelson. He was in Definitely Not Emperor with Matthew Fox. That movie sucked. In the Valley of Eli, which also had Sue Sarandon. That was pretty good. Rules of Engagement with Sam Jackson. That was okay. JFK, also with Kevin Costner. That was decent. The Company Man with Ben Affleck was okay. Yeah, the guy's been in some really cool stuff over the years. But let me leave you guys. What are some of your favorite Tommy Lee Jones movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is C Movies signing off.